Okay, Reggie. Well, we all know the new faces for the Vikings by now. After a strong draft class to many experts, a solid offseason, big names like za'darius Smith, retaining Daniil Hunter and Patrick Peterson. Reggie, we talked in depth about the NFC North and the Packers quite a bit yesterday and how this whole division fits in with one another, and it's clear. Once again, this whole thing should come down to the Packers and Vikings, according to many NFL experts. So I want to take a deeper dive and look at the defensive side of the ball between these two teams. And you tell me, if you were building a team today, which positional group would you take, the Vikings or Packers? Both teams are now running a similar 3-4 base defense, so we can kind of get an apples-to-apples comparison and look between the two. Let's start with the defensive line. Just looking at the starters for the Vikings, we know we've got Dalvin Tomlinson, Harrison Phillips, and a rotation of what I'm predicting to be Armon Watson, James Lynch. Could be a wild card in there we don't know about, but as of today, that's where we stand. For the Packers, you've got Kenny Clark in the middle, Dean Lowry, and now first-round rookie Devon Wyatt. Who's got the edge, Packers or Vikings? Which defensive line are you taking?
I'm going to take the Vikings just because they have the most experience on that defensive line. And, you look at guys that they've brought in, like za'darius Smith, Harrison Phillips, Horrible Harry. Like, those are some pretty impact guys on that defensive front. And you already, have guys like Dalvin Tomlinson. And so I think that's going to be a really, really strong unit for them. I think that's going to be a position of strength for them. And that's going to be something that I feel like puts them over the top. When you look at the Packers, like, you got a couple rookies, trying to fill out those couple spots on that line. And so, while we talked about how all in that the Packers are on defense, I think there are some question marks and some things that remain to be seen when it comes to where those guys that they have brought in kind of fit in. And if, guys are going to, go to the next level. You talk about guys like Rashawn Gary and things like that. You're just like, well, if I'm going to put my money on it, like, I'm taking Daniil Hunter. He's a proven commodity when healthy. I'm taking za'darius Smith, also a proven commodity when healthy. And they have some guys on that front that really scare you. And they're going to be much improved as well with the run defense. That's something that, we talked to Dalvin Tomlinson about the other day, and he was, pretty much talking about how he felt like the run defense was going to be better because of the pieces that they added, the scheme that they're running now. And so, week one, we're going to get a chance to see that, on full display, and I think it's going to be advantage Vikings.
Yeah, closer than I thought originally. Thought Vikings right away, but a lot of uncertainty for me pending on who that third lineman is going to be. And I forgot, too, you can't forget this one. The Packers signed Jerron Reed from the Commanders, former first-rounder from Alabama, pretty rock solid. So I'm going to just give a slight edge to the Packers, but, man, call it a coin flip. Pretty close. Like you said, we'll find out a lot more in week one when these two teams face off. You kind of touched on za'darius and Hunter. Let's look at the linebackers here for both teams. Check these out, man. These are wild, man. Vikings, Hunter and Smith on the edge. Kendricks and Jordan Hicks in the middle. Packers, Rashawn Gary, absolute stud in the making, and Preston Smith on the edge. And Devondre Campbell, a Pro Bowler, and first-round rookie Quay Walker from Georgia in the middle. That's tough, man. I mean, who you got in this one? Linebackers, Vikings or Packers?
Okay, I'm looking at it. Jordan Hicks was very solid last year.
3 straight 100-plus tackles, I believe.
Exactly.
So, I mean, not the name brand, but pretty solid.
As productive
for a guy.
Yeah, as productive as they come. Eric Kendricks is an absolute stud. You drafted Brian Asamoah to really kind of, help and put some depth on that linebacker core. Man, this is tough. You know what? We're a Minnesota show. I'm just gonna go Vikings. I'm gonna go Vikings just because, they have some talent on that side, And I'm just willing to give them the benefit of the doubt there.
Gary, again, booming stud. Campbell, a Pro Bowler. Preston Smith, super solid in my opinion. I think it all hinges on how quickly your first rounder, Quay Walker, can get acclimated, because you're only good as your weakest link. And I know that's the question mark for them. Just because he's a first rounder doesn't mean there's not going to be some growing pains, some rookie lumps that first year. Jordan Hicks, I guess, would be the weakest of the four for the Vikings, but he's had, again, 3 straight 100-plus tackles, so we know what he's doing there. Pending everyone's healthy, of course, I got to go Vikes, man. I think if you need to win one game like this, for sure, if you're building a team for the future in the long haul, I guess clearly the Packers may be a little bit younger, while za'darius Smith is in his 30s, coming off back surgery. Kendricks is getting up there a little bit. A lot of different variables and factors for sure, but when healthy, again, I just think that star-studded ability of Hunter, za'darius, and Eric Kendricks, a Pro Bowler in the middle, I think that gives me the edge over the Packers at the linebacker position. All right, last one, the secondary. Again, Vikes going youth movement here, bringing in Boot Jr., Caleb Evans, Lewis Seen. They still got Cam Dantzler. They signed Chandon Sullivan to be the nickel, mixed in with the Pro Bowl vets, the guys that have been here a while, Dirty Harry, Patrick Peterson. Packers just signed Jair Alexander as the highest paid cornerback. He's a top 3 corner. Eric Stokes, the first rounder last year. Rasul Douglas at cornerback. He led the team with 5 interceptions. Darnell Savage and Adrian Amos at safety, a first rounder and second rounder there, respectively. Who you got in the secondary here, Reggie? This one was the hardest for me.
Yeah, this one is tough for me. Man, I think just from a youth standpoint, maybe the Packers, and especially, Jair Alexander is one of the best in the game right now. And so, they paid him as such. And so I think, Patrick Peterson has another year under his belt, another year older. So you're not really sure, what to expect. It took him until the very last game of the season to get his first interception of the season to keep that streak going in his career. Lewis Seen is going to be pretty good. You would hope. Andrew Booth would be good. If he stays healthy. Cam Bynum, you're expecting a jump from him. Not really sure what to expect from a Caleb Evans in his first year. I think he's just going to be more so for depth. But yeah, it's a coin flip for me. But I think if you had to force me, I guess I'll go Packers.
Yeah, it's crazy though when you sit here and look at position by position, how close specifically the linebacker and the secondary is as far as these two teams go, as far as just talent from starters. We're not talking about depth or anything, just your 11 starters in those positions specifically. I dock the Packers in the linebacker position because, again, Quay Walker is inexperienced. We don't know how long it's going to take him to get acclimated. So I got to do the same for the Vikings with 2 rookies, Andrew Booth Jr. and Lewis Seen. And when I look at just who's your number 1 corner, to have a stud shutdown guy, lockdown, clear that side of the field out like Jair Alexander has been. And when you look at the Vikings, Patrick Peterson, not the Patrick Peterson we're known for, not the name brand Patrick Peterson in his prime, still a great veteran number 1 guy, but not that true shutdown, lockdown guy. When you got that number 1 lockdown corner, just does so many things for your defense and secondary. I'm going to give the edge to the Packers just by a hair. But again, crazy to see just how close position by position these 11 starters are on the defense comparing the Vikings and the Packers. Again, you mentioned it. They'll face off week 1. We'll know right away, real quick, which team has the edge early on. Again, specifically with the Packers going a little bit more defensive heavy over the last few off seasons, trying to change their identity, take some pressure off Aaron Rodgers. If the division plays out like many are expecting, again, the Vikings should be nipping at the heels of the Packers all year long. So kind of fun just to go position by position and see how they match up both for the present and the long term as well. A lot of youth in both these teams at multiple positions.